Now, there is no doubt about it that the Walt Disney Company is 100% banking on Deadpool and Wolverine becoming one of their most successful features of 2024, after 2023 was, by the way, their biggest disaster for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We know that the Marvels basically served as the worst MCU opening of all time when it comes to the box office, but focusing on Ryan Reynolds and Joy Behar and the drama in between is only getting worse between Marvel Studios and the Walt Disney Company and everything else happening with Bob Iger. Let's discuss. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Ryan Reynolds is that he doesn't hold back. We know that this is one actor that has had the courage to stand up against the Walt Disney Company and to actually stand alongside director Shawn Levy to get things done their way with Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, as we discussed a couple of months ago, there was indeed a scene filmed in which Joy Behar is heavily mocked and made fun of in this movie, and that is something that she, in the end, was very much against after learning about the creative end of that scene and the specifics about what was actually filmed. Now, what's interesting about this moving forward is exactly what's been going on between Behar and Ryan Reynolds and everything else happening with the current status of these actual scenes that feature Joy Behar. Let's get into this. Now, on top of everything here, we already know that Bob Iger is really trying to protect Marvel Studios at all costs. Alright, we know that 2025 is going to be filled with a lot of setbacks. We know that Blade right now is going through a lot of problems, as well as Captain America 4, and that's just the very beginning. However, with, of course, all divisions of the Walt Disney Company going through various setbacks and challenges due to Bob Iger's deliberate agenda and his cost-cutting measures, one major development now has more to do with Ryan Reynolds and Joy Behar and the recent drama happening between the two. Now, one major update to this situation now involves how Reynolds recently took a stand with director Shawn Levy against the Disney heads to release 2 deleted scenes that featured Joy Behar of The View getting mocked by Deadpool and Wolverine in the upcoming film while they drink whiskey in a bar. These 2 scenes are now moving forward to becoming a part of the director's cut instead of the film that will mock Joy Behar. The main reason why it won't be included in the theatrical release is that Shawn Levy and Ryan Reynolds wanted to take their time on this scene being a very comedic one that will resonate with fans. There was an ongoing battle between Joy Behar and the Disney heads, as it turns out, to get those scenes removed entirely from the director's cut of Deadpool and Wolverine, where Behar is mocked. It turns out that Behar gave full approval of her parody in the film, all because she was getting paid millions of dollars, but as it turns out, Joy did not know the nature of the scene or the context of this actual sequence. She is currently very unhappy, however, with the direction of the scene in which both Deadpool and Wolverine mock the TV show host. One sequence in particular involves Deadpool hopping on the table of a bar and cracking jokes about Joy Behar to customers sitting at their tables, drinking and eating. After months of drama between Joy Behar and the Disney executives, including Bob Iger, the CEO, Ryan Reynolds made the final push to keep this scene intact for the director's cut, which, by the way, is set to drop this holiday season if all goes well with the editing and it's done on time. Behar in the beginning was even warning of taking some form of legal action if this was not removed entirely. However, in both Ryan and Shawn's defense over the scene that features archived footage of Joy Behar of The View getting poked fun at, it was in the contract fully that Ryan and Shawn held full creative power and freedom over making fun of The View and its hosts, mainly Joy Behar. Behar is already reportedly having a meltdown over the scene after she was able to have a viewing of what was filmed, and though it's not completely finished just yet, she is already begging Reynolds and Shawn Levy to remove the scene entirely from the director's cut to no avail. Even those like Bob Iger and Kevin Feige decided to side with Reynolds, since he was giving various ultimatums against the Disney heads by warning of dropping out of many Marvel projects, including Secret Wars with Hugh Jackman, since he recently signed an extensive contract. So guys, let me just say one thing about this before I move on. Now, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Hugh Jackman recently signed a mega deal with Marvel. He's going to be included in various projects, whether it's cameos or major appearances, doesn't matter. You're going to have a lot more of classic Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, in multiple Marvel movies and TV shows and everything that's going to connect to the X-Men moving onwards. So this is what's interesting about this, is the fact that Joy Behar was so oblivious to the fact that when she signed the contract that she was going to have a moment of limelight, a moment in this movie where she would actually be parried, kind of made fun of or poked fun at to a degree. It would serve as a parody, so to speak. And she didn't really know the nature of what was going on here. Since this is Deadpool and Wolverine, you gotta expect that you're gonna get harsh jokes thrown at your face. And she didn't really see that coming. And in the end, when she finally got to see the footage, that's when things began to turn upside down. So that's why the drama and everything else happening between both Reynolds and Behar continued yet again after she finally got to see what is actually being prepared for the director's cut of Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, we already know that Deadpool and Wolverine's director's cut is going to feature an extended sequence of the Hulk versus Wolverine scene, and that's another thing to look forward to. I think it's going to be a massive hit. I think a lot of people are going to view this on streaming. I think a lot of people are going to buy this thing on Blu-ray. But look, we know that we have to wait to see how this movie is going to perform in the long run. We know that Ryan was very successful at limiting as much DEI elements as possible and really throwing away as much agenda-driven garbage as possible by the Disney heads. Only a little bit of that spilled its way through into Deadpool and Wolverine, so we'll see how relevant that's going to be in the story, and we'll have to wait and see. But on top of that, another part of the scene even features Wolverine making jokes with actual profanity included against what he sees of Behar on the television screen in the bar. This is described to be part of the extended scene in which Deadpool recruits Wolverine and begs for his help to save his own universe. So, like I've said earlier, Joy Behar is one that really cannot take criticism well and cannot take any kind of, actions going against her well as well. Now, we know that at the same exact time, this movie, Sean Levy, he confirmed, I don't know if you guys knew this as well, but he confirmed that this is not Deadpool 3 in its own form. Alright, this is something of its own. This is not considered the third film to wrap up the trilogy, so to speak. So this is a movie that stands on its own. You don't have to actually tune into Deadpool 1 and 2 to get what's going on with this movie. That's the greatness about this film, is that it's going to be 100% pure entertainment. It's going to, really lend a hand to the fans and say, this is all for you. That's what Ryan believed in. That's what Sean believed in. And Disney in the beginning, believe it or not, they were against that. They really did not want it to be about the fans. And that's when Ryan really had a very big problem with the Walt Disney Company, Bob Iger, even Kevin Feige at some points. But yeah, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.